Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great holiday season. It's once again time to count down the movies of the year that made us the most happy and the most infuriated. But let's start out on a positive note. These are the top 10 best movies of 2011. At number 10 is the insanely entertaining Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Now, I went into this movie expecting it to be good because I'm a fan of the Mission Impossible movies, but man, was this an incredible entertainment, impeccably directed by animation director Brad Bird. Not only were all the action set pieces stunning, but this is the first Mission Impossible movie to finally focus on the team, and it's all the better for it. And besides one movie we're talking about later on this list, this is the best blockbuster of 2011. At number 9, Matt Damon and Emily Blunt in The Adjustment Bureau. This is an incredibly underrated movie. Not only is it one of the most thought-provoking of the year, but it's without a doubt the best love story to come out this year. The movie's ability to tell a very out-there sci-fi story about agents of fate trying to keep Matt Damon and Emily Blunt apart, while still keeping the whole thing very rooted in story and character development, reminded me of a fantastic episode of The Twilight Zone. And number 8, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is the best blockbuster of the year. Not only does it tell an incredible fable about an ape rising up and creating a coalition of apes to join him to go against the human race, but it also is just an incredible blockbuster, really managed to have a nice balance between story and fantastic action, and is an incredibly entertaining movie all the way through. I wouldn't take this movie any other way, and this movie came in above X-Men First Class because I had such low expectations going into it, and it really blew me away. And in my opinion, motion capture actor Andy Serkis absolutely deserves an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his incredible motion capture work as the ape Caesar. And number 7, the political drama The Ides of March. I have an incredible respect for the decisions George Clooney made as a director here. He could have easily made this a very liberal film that attacked the Conservative Party because George Clooney is a Democrat himself. However, Clooney decided to make a more equal film where he just made a no-holds-barred attack on the entire political system, and to do this, he had to attack the party that was in office, his own. Not only did I love his portrayal of modern politics and the two-faced nature that comes with it, but he got incredible performances out of all of his actors, especially Ryan Gosling, who just had a banner year this year between spectacular performances in this, Drive, and even Crazy Stupid Love. There are a couple monologues in this movie, especially one by Philip Seymour Hoffman late on, that is some of the best written dialogue on screen this year. And number 6, one of the most disturbing movies ever made, The Devil's Double. Alright, let me rephrase that before everybody starts suggesting Cannibal Holocaust to me. One of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. This is another case of a movie where I had some sort of low expectations going in, but this movie absolutely floored me. It may not be as good as some of the other movies above it on my list in terms of story, but in terms of character and his portrayal of an evil, evil person, this movie is in the top tier. Dominic Cooper gives the best performance of an actor this year, portraying both Uday Hussein and his Fideh or Double Lateef. Uday Hussein in this movie truly frightened me, and that takes a lot to really, really scare me watching a portrayal of anybody. But in this movie, Dominic Cooper just gives such a sadistically evil performance that is so far removed from anything he's done before that it's truly terrifying. I love the idea of having a villain who is pure evil because he was born into being pure evil and had never had a chance of being anything other than pure evil, and it just exudes from him. And the other performance as Lateef is also very strong. I also really enjoyed the story in this film and the conflicts of its characters. I really disagree with people who said that this movie is a rehash of Scarface. In fact, if I had to choose between this and Scarface, I honestly think this movie is better. And number 5, Clooney scores again with The Descendants. I didn't review this movie for you guys just because I was exhausted after I saw it. I had a long day that day. But this movie is really great. Clooney gives one of the best performances, if not the best, of his career. The movie centers on him and dealing with his wife being in a coma and trying to deal with his estranged family. And I loved every second of this movie. Clooney's performance was just unbelievable. I've never seen him give such an emotionally naked performance as he did here. He really stretched out and tried to give a performance that was so far removed from the straight and narrow cool guy you've seen him play in other films. And the story of it was just really engaging. And I love these movies about family dynamics, and this is one of the best I've ever seen. Since I know it's a crying shame, but it's true, Dominic Cooper probably won't get nominated for The Devil's Double. I would not have a problem at all if Clooney took it for this movie. At number 4, the most criminally underrated film in recent memory, Limitless. I really don't understand how this movie didn't get more attention. Not only is the story pitch perfect, and the acting by Bradley Cooper and Robert De Niro amazing, but the filmmaking in it is just so weird and out there and awesome that it really deserved more praise. Neil Burger, with his use of light and sound and color and visceral images, paints every picture this movie tries to tell perfectly. And I just found the story of this movie to be really solid and really engaging. In fact, of all the movies that have come out this year, this is the one I've come back to the most, just because every time I watch it, I find something new in it. And this without a doubt cements my idea that Bradley Cooper is definitely one of the biggest stars that's going to be up and coming in the next couple of years. At number 3, the sports drama, Warrior. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of sports movies. I mean, there are some I like and some I don't. But this is the second year in a row where I've absolutely fallen in love with a sports movie. Last year being The Fighter, and this movie being this one. And this is mainly, it's a very similar movie to The Fighter in some sense. It's about a conflict between two brothers and the family dynamic as much or more than it is about the fighting. However, this movie really steps up the fighting aspect as much as the family dynamic. The MMA scenes in this movie are brutal, visceral, and you can't take your eyes off them. But what really makes them worth watching is the performances by Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, and especially Nick Nolte, who gives an Oscar-worthy performance as the alcoholic father of these two men who completely ruined their lives and scarred them in different ways. And the movie's about not only them dealing with it, but dealing with it by fighting each other. When a movie genuinely makes you want to stand up and cheer, it's doing something right. At number 2, David Fincher's epic crime film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I truly can't get over how good this movie was. This movie not only was perfect in its crime story, deliberately paced, yet perfectly executed, and its performances by Daniel Craig and especially Rooney Mara, who gives one of the most captivating performances of the year and the best performance by an actress in a motion picture this year. This movie had me at attention on the edge of my seat for nearly 3 hours, which is a hard feat, believe me. And David Fincher just directs this movie incredibly. He works awesome with his actors, and just all of his shot compositions just look beautiful. This is one of the most engaging mysteries put on screen in a while, and although it is a very harrowing film, I'll be going back to rewatch this movie quite a few times because this film rocks. And maybe it'll get David Fincher Best Director. Finally. And at number 1, we have Jason Segel's reboot of The Muppets. Like I said when I put this movie at number 1 for my biggest movies of the year, yes, I have a family film at number 1. Deal. What can I say other than the fact that this movie made me completely and utterly blissful? Jason Segel took my favorite thing from my childhood and not only completely recreated the style and sensibility of it, but just captured the essence of what The Muppets is all about. So funny, so warm, so touching these puppets were, and just I can never get over the amount of emotion and expression these puppets can capture, even more so than a human actor. The musical numbers are incredibly entertaining. The story, while a little cliched, is popped out and made wonderful by the performances and just the presentation of it. And the moment where I realized this was the best movie of the year was not during the film when I was absolutely loving it. It was toward the end when all the Muppets start singing Rainbow Connection together and Animal hits those drums and they have that shot going backwards. That was the most emotional moment of any movie this year, I have to say. It was incredible. I got chills down my spine as these over puppets singing a song about rainbows, and that says everything. This movie absolutely blew me away, and I'm so glad they actually rebooted this, and I'm excited to see what Jason Segel does with the Muppets next, because if it's anything like this movie, there's plenty more great to come. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed my best movies of 2011, and be on the lookout for the worst movies of the year very soon.